My son, my daughter, listen to my voice today. I want you to know that every chain in your life is being broken. I see the weight you carry, the bonds that hold you back, the invisible prisons that try to suffocate your soul. But listen carefully. There is no chain so strong that I cannot break, no shackle that can resist my power. I know you have tried to fight alone, that you have struggled to get out of this situation, but with each failed attempt you felt as if you were farther from freedom. But now I tell you, the time of your liberation has come. Look back and see everything I have already done. I am the one who parted the sea so that my people could walk on dry land. I am the one who brought down the impenetrable walls of Jericho with a simple breath of faith. It was I who freed Paul and Silas from prison when all seemed lost. What makes you think your struggle is too great for me? Can the weight you carry on your shoulders be greater than my power? My child, I created you for freedom, not for slavery. I called you to walk with your head held high, not to live bent under the yoke of oppression. I see the chains that bind you. Some are obvious. They are addictions that enslave you, relationships that hurt you, debts that imprison you, illnesses that weaken your body, injustices that steal your hope. But there are other chains, the ones no one sees, but that destroy you from within: guilt, fear, bitterness, rejection, past traumas. Many times the most dangerous bonds are not those that chain your hands and feet, but those that imprison your mind and heart. The enemy has tried to convince you that these chains are part of who you are. He whispers in your ear that you will never be able to change, that you are condemned to carry these burdens forever, that you will always be a prisoner of your past. But today I come to tell you that this is a lie. You were not created to live in captivity. You were not born to carry these shackles. I made you to walk in freedom. Do you remember what happened when I brought my people out of Egypt? They had been slaves for so long that they could no longer imagine a different life. When I set them free, many still carried within them a captive mindset. Even after leaving Egypt, they feared the future. They murmured they wanted to return to slavery because it was all they had ever known. Have you noticed that many times it is easier to cling to familiar suffering than to trust in what I have prepared? The fear of the unknown can be as paralyzing as the chains of the past. Perhaps you are living exactly like this. I've already set you free. I've already opened the prison doors. I have already broken the chains. But your mind is still captive. You have become so accustomed to pain and oppression that you fear freedom. But today, my child, I am opening that cell. Today I am breaking every shackle. You no longer need to live bent under the weight of the past. You no longer need to surrender to the lies that enslave you. You must know that you are not defenseless. I've given you power. The enemy is afraid of what is inside you because within you dwells the same spirit that raised Jesus from the dead. You do not need to live at the mercy of circumstances. You have the authority to break every curse, every obstacle, every bond that tries to destroy you. When David faced Goliath, he did not win because he was strong or experienced. He won because he trusted in me. When the Israelites stood before the Red Sea, it was not their strength that opened the way, but their faith in the God who never fails. And today, my child, it is your faith that will break the chains. I have already declared your victory, but you need to rise up. Do not accept living as a prisoner any longer. Do not believe the lies that say you will never be free. If you believe, if you take a step of faith, you will see that the chains that seemed unbreakable were fragile before my power. I see the exhaustion in your eyes. I see the sleepless nights, the tears you hide. I know you have tried alone and failed. I know that sometimes you feel like you have no more strength to go on. But listen carefully. I am with you. I am your strength. Do you remember what happened with Paul and Silas? They were chained, with no way out, but instead of murmuring, instead of giving up, they began to pray and praise. And when they did, the chains broke and the prison doors opened. My child, stop looking at the chains. Stop focusing on the problem, the oppression, the pain. Look at me. Praise, pray, call upon my name. I am already moving the structures around you. What once seemed impossible is crumbling before my presence. Today is the day of your liberation. Not tomorrow, not someday in the future. Today, now. Every chain that held you back, every tie that bound you, every burden that weighed on you, I am breaking it now. And now that the chains have been broken, there is something you need to understand. Do not return to captivity. The enemy will try to deceive you. He will try to convince you that nothing has changed, that you are still a prisoner, but that is not the truth. Do you remember when I brought Lot out of Sodom? Before the destruction of that corrupt city, I sent my angels to rescue Lot and his family because I did not want them to perish. But there was a clear warning: do not look back, do not stop, do not cling to what was left behind. However, Lot's wife, moved by nostalgia for the past, resisted leaving behind what was no longer part of my plan. She disobeyed and looked back, and in that instant she lost her life, turning into a pillar of salt. Many do the same. Even after being freed, they still carry within them a longing for what once bound them. They hold on to broken chains as if they were still attached to their feet. The fear of the unknown prevents them from moving forward, and they end up looking back, longing for what should have been left behind. But my child, I tell you with love and authority, do not look back. Do not cling to what was left behind. The past no longer defines who you are. I did not bring you out of captivity for you to remain emotionally tied to past wounds, habits, and pains. I set you free so you could move forward and live a new story with me. You must understand that moving forward requires more than just physically leaving the place of slavery. It is necessary to free your mind, heart, and soul from inner bondage. Many left Egypt but continued to think like slaves. Many had their chains broken but continued living as if they were still prisoners. Do not make the same mistake. The freedom I have given you must be lived and experienced. How do you do this? How do you remain free? Renew your mind daily with my word. The world will constantly try to feed you lies, trying to chain you again through fear, doubt, and false promises. The enemy will use every possible trick to convince you that nothing has changed, but I tell you, feed yourself with the truth. My word is the food for your soul, the light for your path, the liberation for those who choose to walk with me. The freedom I have given you is not temporary. It is eternal. If I've set you free, why do you still act like a slave? If the chains have already fallen, why do you still carry their weight? My child, now that you have stepped into freedom, I want to teach you how to maintain it. True freedom is not just the absence of chains, it is the presence of discipline, wisdom, and a renewed mind. It is not enough to walk out of captivity, you must also learn to stay out of it. One of the first things you must do is establish new habits. Freedom is sustained through consistency. If your old routine led you into bondage, you cannot continue living the same way and expect different results. Change how you spend your time. Set aside moments each day to be in my presence, even when you do not feel like it. Strength is built through repetition, and your spirit must be exercised just as your body is. You must also take inventory of who is walking with you. Not everyone from your past can accompany you into your future. Some people will try to remind you of who you used to be. Others may pressure you to return to old patterns. Do not be afraid to let go of relationships that no longer align with your calling. Surround yourself with those who encourage your growth, not those who make excuses for your downfall. Pay attention to the small compromises. The enemy does not always come in with a loud attack. Sometimes he works through subtle distractions. A small lie here, a delayed prayer there, a moment of carelessness. These can build up over time and weaken your resolve. Stay alert. Freedom is lost in inches before it is lost in miles. You must also guard your affections. Be careful what you allow your heart to long for. Some people are free physically but still enslaved to past desires. If you keep reminiscing about what once held you captive, you will eventually be drawn back to it. Instead, focus your heart forward. Ask me to give you new dreams, new goals, and a new hunger for what is good and pure. Scene script. Do not be discouraged if you still feel temptation. Freedom does not mean you will never struggle. It means you now have the power to overcome. When temptation comes, do not entertain it. Address it immediately. Speak my word. Shift your focus. Remove yourself from situations that make you vulnerable. Victory is won in the moment of decision. Learn to fight your battles through praise. Many people only worship when they feel victorious, but I'm calling you to praise before you see the breakthrough. When you choose to worship in the midst of difficulty, you declare that your faith is not dependent on circumstances. This confuses the enemy because he expects you to panic, but instead you stand firm in joy. Develop a heart of service. One of the greatest ways to remain free is to pour into others. Do not keep your testimony to yourself. Use it to uplift those who are still struggling. When you help others break their chains, your own freedom becomes even stronger. You are not just called to be free, you are called to be a liberator. Be patient with your own progress. Freedom is a process. Some chains fall instantly, but others require time and persistence to break completely. If you stumble, do not allow shame to pull you back. Come to me, receive my grace, and keep moving forward. I'm not measuring your worth by your perfection. I'm looking at your heart and your willingness to grow. Above all, stay close to me. The moment you distance yourself, you will begin to feel the pull of old habits again. Make my presence your dwelling place, not just an occasional visit. Let my voice be louder than any other. Walk with me daily, and I will teach you how to live, not just as someone who was freed once, but as someone who remains free, thrives in freedom and leads others into it.